Welcome to the 700 Club. U.S. locked and loaded. President Trump's tweet after an attack on Saudi Arabia's main oil facility on Saturday. The strike did extensive damage, and the impact is already being felt worldwide.
Who's to blame for the attack, and how will the United States and the Saudis retaliate? Chris Mitchell has the disturbing story from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia.
These satellite images show the extensive damage done to the Obqaiq oil refinery. The attack on Saudi Arabia's largest oil processing facility, not far from here in Riyadh, represents a major escalation in the battle between Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United States. The strike cut the Saudis' daily oil output by nearly 6 million barrels per day.
That's about 60% of the Saudi production. And when you talk about the global production, that's almost more than 5% of the global oil production.
The impact is being felt worldwide. The price of oil spiked sharply, gaining 10% or more. And President Trump said he'll release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve if necessary to assure enough oil for the marketplace. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Saudis plan to get 1/3 of their oil output back online by Monday. But the entire plant may take weeks to get back to full production. The local paper blames the Houthi, the Iranian-backed proxy that's been fighting a war with Saudi Arabia since 2015. But U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo lays the direct blame on Iran. Iran's President Rouhani rejected that claim and instead blamed Israel and the United States for the tension in the region. For now, the region sits on a powder keg that some believe has the potential to spiral into a regional war. How the U.S. and Saudi Arabia respond will go a long way to determine the short and long-term future of the Middle East. I'm Chris Mitchell, reporting from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Well, this is a remarkable escalation of the proxy war that's been going on for some time between Saudi Arabia and Iran over Yemen. And the goal here, the Iranian goal, is to control the other strait. Talk a lot about the Strait of Hormuz and how much oil flows through that. There's another strait on the coast of Yemen. It's called the Gate of Tears. Literally, you can control that strait with just a rocket-propelled grenade. I mean, an RPG can take out a tanker. It's that close. They're trying to choke off that oil point because Iran's ultimate goal is to control all of the oil coming out of the Middle East and through that control the world's economy. When they weren't able to be successful in the proxy war, they said, well, we'll escalate. If you're going to impose new sanctions on us, if you're going to try to prevent us from getting nuclear weapons, well, we're going to strike back, and we're going to strike back at the world economy, and we're going to take out 6 million barrels a day. That's what's going on here, and you can expect market turmoil in the stock markets. You can also expect the price of oil to spike up, and with that, the price of gasoline to go along with it. So we're all in for a ride here, and the tension is unbelievable right now. For the president of the U.S. to say we're locked and loaded, that means he's looking for the target. And is this going to escalate into full-blown war? Well, in other news, the New York Times is now backing off its attempt at a bombshell story about Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Gordon. The paper's original piece, which was based on a new book, involved a new claim of sexual assault against Kavanaugh while he was in college. The Times revised its story, adding that the book points out the woman denies any memory of the alleged assault. The Times did not include that information in its original story, and the update added she has refused to be interviewed. The paper made its revision only after conservative writer Molly Hemingway pointed out the story didn't include the fact that the woman doesn't remember the event. The man who raised the allegation, Democratic lawyer Max Stier, reportedly says he saw the assault when it happened. He has also refused to be interviewed. Turning overseas, voting in Israel for national elections will begin in less than 24 hours. It is the second time in less than 6 months now after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu failed to put together a majority after winning last spring's elections. Polls show another extremely tight race. The top contenders are Netanyahu's Likud party and the blue and white party of former IDF General Benny Gantz. Analysts say it's possible neither side will win a clear majority.
There will have to be some kind of unity coalition probably one that has both Likud and Blue and White, the two leading parties within it.
A low voter turnout is expected. Edward Snowden, the man who blew the whistle on government surveillance, has a warning about the dangers of technology and privacy. Snowden told the British paper The Guardian he's concerned the U.S. and other governments around the world, along with the big internet companies, are moving toward creating a permanent record of everyone on Earth, recording everything in our lives. He suggests new laws to protect emails and other online communications, but he says it will also take more to protect people's privacy.